for 3 months. His crew was the movie Black Hawk Down.
Okay.
And then he got to immediately go to Africa.
Where's some cookies at?
He was, yeah, I was
I
there.
went home and told my wife that
And everything, trying to stop the flow from the villages.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so,
Chocolate chip.
so we're going to get started. We've got a pretty quick pre-meeting, and so we're going to start with a mental health update, and I'm going to let Carter start and kick us off there. So go ahead, Carter.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see all of you. You had asked for an opportunity to get caught up, if you will, with regard to the efforts that public safety is taking pursuant to the mental health efforts supporting our employees. And so I asked fire and police to come together today and share some of that information with you. We also have Nicole and Tracy here from the HR side, if you have any questions for them as far as the broader organization is concerned. And with that, if I could defer some time to our folks from fire and police to cover this question, I'd sure appreciate that.
Perfect.
Whoever would like to go first.
Mayor, Council, thank you. I'm Trevor Camsiplin. I'm the Operations and Training Chief for Casper Fire EMS. I'm also the Designated Health and Safety Officer. So it's one of my roles that I oversee is our mental health program. So just a quick overview, like the manager said, is that we got about 15 minutes here, so we're going to bang through this pretty quick, okay? So obviously mental health continues to be an issue in public safety. It's just come to the forefront, so we're trying to get ahead of this with some of the resources that we have, and so I'm going to give you just a basic overview of what we have so far, what we're working on, and stuff like that. So current resources, obviously we have the city provided EFAP, which has been around for a long time. That's still in place, right? And we know that I've used it in the past personally, so folks have used it as well. The state's funded insurance funded services themselves, which are the Cigna, a lot of those things that there was a really great resource that was put out by HR a couple months ago that had specifically for fire and or public safety, had a bunch of stuff listed on it, a bunch of different resources, those types of things that can come out. One of the things for us is, and I know with PD as well, is our peer support group. And when the peer support group was founded, it was a joint partnership between Local 904, the local that represents the line firefighters, and Casper Fire EMS. That is when I feel that truly mental health came forth, and we actually had some people actually participating, okay? In the past, it was always a little more reactive, but once peer support came on, because a quick overview of peer support is literally other firefighters. It is, we currently have 5 that are trained. They have had the opportunity to go to a special training to become, they are peer resources. They're not therapists. They are just advocates for different needs and different therapies that are available to them. And because they are a peer and they are non-judgmental and they are non-punitive, people can go directly to them. And so we actually have 5 right now, 2 of which are probably one of the most well-respected people we have on the job. They're busy, okay? A lot of people like talking to them because they're coachable, okay? So that was how peer support. So for us, that's our biggest thing. They can make direct referrals to other services that are available, all those types of things. So for us, that's probably our biggest thing, is that peer support group. It's, like I said, non-punitive. They can call whenever they want. They try to be proactive as well. Major calls come in. A lot of times they'll give people a call. We had an incident recently on one of our new recruits, had a close family member, had some people pass away. He was in Cheyenne. I get a phone call from the training officer down there. Hey, one of our guys isn't looking so good. We think you had a fatality in the family. I make some phone calls. We find out it wasn't his family, but a close friend. Their peer in Cheyenne talks to our peer. We call, just make some contacts. Literally, just literally phone calls, real basic stuff. Things kind of smooth out, and it becomes. But it's something that 5 years ago that wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had those people specifically trained for that. It would have been just, hey buddy, are you okay type of thing. And what do we always say? I'm good. So a good example of that peer support. Not a critical issue, but something that could definitely be headed off. Like I said, peer support shows up. We hear, particularly calls that involve children, those types of stuff. A lot of times it's just a phone call. Literally, it's just a phone call. Talk about. We are fortunate in the fire services. We have what we call table time. So we're 24-hour shifts, so we get a lot of time to be peer supports for each other. So that was just an extension of that. So for us, that's probably our most used resource. So new resources we have coming out. The Cortico app, which is a new application. It is basically that you guys funded, is a repository. It's not it's not therapy, but it has yoga, it has workouts, it has recipes, it's going to have all of our resources that we have, including our peer support group, all of our other EFAPs, everything in one place, okay? It'll be a special app on a phone. They'll be able to touch it. My understanding is it will be specific for public safety. They'll have their own logo. They'll be able to touch it. If they just have a question, it has from the full-on, I'm on the verge of doing something really, really bad, touch, make a phone call, to, hey, I need to be more healthy about what I eat, that kind of stuff. It'll be a full one-stop shop for that, okay? Our wellness team. The wellness team is something that we just formed. I put that together, so it's myself, health and safety officer, Captain Heron, who's our peer support leader, a fitness coordinator, local mental health president, Micah Rush, and then our CFS, our medical provider, the individual, Bree Newell, who does our physicals. We brought her in. We felt we needed some oversight. We didn't want to be just throwing darts at the board, okay? So we meet quarterly, and we just look at little things that, hey, there are things that we can do that we're missing. I try not to I didn't want to make a committee that does a lot of work per se, that does, analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis type of thing. So it's just literally a very basic overview to make sure that we're not missing something. We are very fortunate that Bree Newell is the advocate for mental health. She has a questionnaire that she does. All of our people get physicals either every year or every other year. She's going to tweak her questionnaire a little bit to make it more applicable, and tap into some of those other resources. And lastly, we're kind of working on the therapy canine program. A lot of science out there about canines. They love to pet a dog. So I've been working with John about some policies and things we're trying to get in place to get what that looks like. And we were very fortunate in the fact we have a local trainer here in town who runs like 26 different therapy dogs. He donated the training. So myself and one other member of the department right now are participating in that training. We're taking our dogs through it. And they will be licensed therapy dogs, and then once we get the policies kind of in place, they will be another resource. It's simple as showing up sometimes, so that's where we're headed. The use is a big thing. I talked to our therapy guys, or our peer support guys. When it first got going, they said about 60% of the people online at least contacted them, okay, which was kind of like, wow, that's a lot, okay, so it has tapered off considerably. I think people got some contacts and kind of figured, okay, this isn't so bad. It's about 40% are active participants. We have full-on, we have some guys that run some faith-based stuff. We have some guys that run some non-faith-based stuff. So a lot of guys are talking. I shouldn't say guys and gals, so are talking, are doing things, which I think is good. So that's where we're at for the use. And as far as needs, the big thing is going to be more formal training is for the team that we have. It's continuing. It's very hard to get because it's to bring the experts in. We are also very limited in our location here in Casper, is that we don't have as many resources as some of the larger metropolises, those types of things. So the peer support usually vets because it's anybody who's done any therapy, you got to make a connection. If you don't make a connection, it's not worth it. All right. So I don't know, we tend to be a little more hard-headed, so we're maybe a little pickier. I don't know, but it's something that we're working on. And so that one is continued support of new programs as we come up with it. That's what we're looking for. So I'm not sure if we're on my time or not, but I'm trying to keep this. Cool. Okay.
So for the interest of time, I'll wait for questions at the end for everybody, if that works. Okay. Great, thank you.
through that. Okay, I'll try to keep this short and brief. I know the state gave me 4 hours to talk on this, so I'm trying to condense it in 5 minutes here. So if anybody wants any interest in personal meetings or anything, I can actually move you personally. So I'm Captain Brown. I run the administration section of the Cass Police Department, and like my counterpart, I run the mental health section. So there's a lot going on, and as we go through here, I'll hit a lot of his points, but we're looking in several directions now to make this a better program. There we go. So just basically, you guys probably all actually recognize this from high school or college. Anytime we're dealing with a problem, we got to apply the scientific method. So first thing I got to ask the question, and don't keep it with police officers, but what is killing our first responders both mentally and physically? That's the first question we have to ask. Second, we have to do our research. So the main research I'm going off is the Police Executive Research Forum, and also the DOJ Office Community Oriented Police Services, basically COPS. They put out an extensive study. They took 11 major departments with the United States, and they said these are the top departments. And that's why actually I fashioned our peer support group off the San Diego model, and I've actually extended a little bit more. So what are we looking for? We're constructing a hypothesis based on the other wellness program that will reduce first responder injury and deaths, okay? It's no mystery out there. 3 first responder suicides within a 1-year period shows a definitive need for mental health. So as I go from facts and figures, you'll see the problem is systemic and it's a problem that needs to be handled immediately. Construction implementation of first generation wellness program, that's what I'm currently working on. And then I build it. So how do we know that it's successful? Unfortunately, we got a data section. We got to analyze the data and draw conclusions. And I'll tell you, that's not only data that's going to be comprised by the Cass Police Department, but I've also met with numerous counselors. They're not going to give me names or anything, but they're going to give me basically raw data. How many firefighters we're seeing, how many police officers we're seeing, and how many family members we're seeing. Because we need data to push how successful it is, but also when we're dealing with counselors, what are our most successful counselors? Who do we stick with? Who might we need to drop and go with somebody else? And finally, data, surveys, and results, we need to realign and adjust. So this is a first generation program. We're going to make mistakes, but what we do is realign and adjust to make this a better program. This is our peer support team right now that we built. Two key sections. We have sworn section, but we also have a civilian section. Because as cops, we get 2 tunnel vision on cops. It's first responders, but it's also civilians are working under us. Our civilian cadre is secretaries that work for us, dispatchers, our CLIA person. It's a wide range of people. And it's not just, we just pull just general civilians. It's civilians that people actually trust and talk to. Same with my peer support group. Voted on by their own members. These are our top guys that people come to. So when we're looking at it, it's just not sworn, but it's also sworn and civilian. Then it starts to branch down. The key point is counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors, and clergy. You might ask, why do I have doctors? The main one is Jad Raful. He's a cardiologist. He's came and actually gave classes to all of our teams for free, but also what he did was bring a nurse in to actually take my officer's blood pressure, because if you look at research, number 1 killer of first responders is heart attacks. Guess what we found out bringing the 4 teams? Some guys were pushing 200 plus blood pressures in their 20s, a lot of issues. Dr. Chris Lockwood, nutritionist, so I brought him in. Cops, first responders are not going to stop drinking energy drinks. We survive off energy drinks and sometimes raw emotions, so this is what keeps some of our guys going. He basically talked to them and said, listen, I know you guys are going to drink power drinks and caffeine, but these are the safe ones. Also, he offered to actually build nutritional programs for our officers, which he has several, and any first responders, so he'll build nutritional programs for them. Once again, that was a referral by Napier. Took it, called him back, excellent resource. He's actually worked with us, continues to work with us. Clergy, of course, we got pastors of different denominations. Counselors is a key point I want you to keep an eye on. So I probably interview anywhere from 3 to 4 counselors a week. This is what we're coming up with. So just because I know we have numerous counselors within the community. Top guy, Shane Harkins. So I met him, he's with Harmony Health. How did I learn from him? From a referral from an officer. So we talked and the guy said, hey, this is somebody special. Every counselor that I actually talk to, I meet with personally. It's not just, oh, we're gonna accept you. I gotta vet you and I wanna see what kind of person you are. Shane Harkins, since I've talked to him, has probably accepted 15 or 16 police officers. We made one promise with me, and about our 5th meeting, it was one promise. He goes, stop lying to me, because every time you just say 2 more. So finally, at about 16 officers, he said, enough's enough. This is a living document. You see Carly Alcaraz right there? That was an interview today where I met with her an hour. She's actually linked with Shane Harkins. She's actually going to take the overage that's from Shane, because Shane just can't take anymore. So he's had several officers. And I also want to build it, so we've linked with the hospitals. You'll see the fire department. What I'm trying to do is build a cadre of counselors that any first responder can come to. The problem is we're dealing with 6 different agencies. A lot of people need help, so I got to build this and expand this. This is going to get a lot bigger. This is first generation. Like I said, Shane Harkins, he's definitely going to get an award from the Cass Police Department. We want to recognize these people, but he is hands down, I call him my little Jesus, because he looks like Jesus and he's done us numerous favors. I mean, one night I talked to him from 8:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Hey, where are we going? Where do you want to go? I also want to put him in our critical debriefings, things like that. He's never said no to me. So this guy, we're definitely going to recognize at the end of the year. This is our peer support team. Like he was talking about, the city tasked us with, we bought the Cortigo app. Unfortunately, it doesn't self-populate itself. So the Cass Police Department was tasked, since we have subject matter experts. I've got Officer Jake Bigelow, who did an exceptional job. Professional photography, self-trained himself. So the task was for the Cass Police Department, hey, we bought this app, now we need you to actually populate it. So with us, you can see our whole peer support group was integrated in there. We're talking 23 people. So it's not just 23 photos, it's also 23 bios. We also built 3 videos that were welcoming apps, one for the city manager, one for the fire chief, and one for the Casper police chief. And luckily we had the subject matter on hand, so the joke was that I pay him city wages. He probably would charge us about 10 grand for it, but he's a team player and he actually did this for us. So all in all, within 2.5 weeks, we had this stuff to the city, and hopefully we'll meet the Cortigo deadlines, which they're talking about, and actually launch this app. So it was a big project that we needed to get knocked out. My goal was 2 weeks, and I think we're about 2.5 weeks, and we should have all the information. So when we're talking about mental health partners, I'm not going to talk to Cass Police Department because I've linked all these people with it. Currently, we're working with Mills PD, Casper Fire Department, Evansville guys just left, so we're looking at replacing him. Natrona County Sheriff's Department, and just yesterday I had another meeting with Kareen, but we're going to get the Wyoming Medical Center and Banner on board. We're talking EMTs, we're talking paramedics, doctors, and nurses. And I can tell you from the hour conversation we had with her, they need our help. So we're going to link them in, and you're going to see how we're going to link them in, but how we're going to help them. So, grant came up from the health department this year. Undisclosed amount you can ask for, so you can ask for any amount. These are the key components. Deliver law enforcement mental health support or first responder mental health, but also the key situations. They want proposed of how we're going to deliver it, what cares and actually conditions we're needing, but the big one is provide a detailed budget describing how funding will be allocated, but what they're looking for is somebody that's community-based, but is actually helping the community, not just their department. Guess what we've already built? We've already built this. So with this budget, I requested $100,000 for this grant. And with that, I detailed what kind of training we're going to do on that. So how did I support it? And this is how I think we'll actually get it with the Cass Police Department. Peer Support Central Training we put on April 11th through 13th. This was a certified peer support people. 7 different agencies, including the Highway Patrol, in on this, and medical and clergy. So 7 different agencies. Here comes the key. A couple years ago, we went to Napier. We said our training budget, like the fire captain was saying, did not meet our thing. We have to outsource everything. Luckily, thank you guys. You increased our budget, basically doubled our training budget, okay? It went from 100,000 to 225. So what did I do with this? We've got one of the biggest budgets in the state we use as a recruiting option, but what I did was all 3 classes you see here, the Cass Police Department paid for it, everybody else comes for free. So for 7 different agencies, we provided the training for free. Meets hand in glove with this grant, and I think with this grant, we'll actually get it from what we've done. So the peer support, we certified 7 different peer support teams. First Responder Mental Health Committee, we were asked to actually do the first state level community for mental health. We brought in the key speaker, Dr. Aful, for cardiologist stuff, but I also spoke on it, and we're trying to get to state levels. So we're expanding past Casper. We're trying to be a model for the whole state. And the third one's a Winning the Battle seminar. Highland Park Church has been exceptional for us. They've allowed us to go in there, so we can equip up to 200 people can go in there. They've never charged us for it. They do it for free. So that's where we have connections within the community. For the Winning the Battle seminar, it's a husband-wife combo, nurse-cop from Vegas. We probably brought in over 70 people, and we invited the family members to actually come in too, because it's family member orientated. So once again, we told those 7 agencies, come for free, bring your families. So I think we have a good chance of getting this $100,000 grant. So the next thing is breaking it down. So they want to know what we're doing. I'm sending this as a supplemental, the actual memo to get the grant, but this is what we're looking at. So look at the price tag on this. So take in mind for like Mills PD has a $12,000 training budget. How much mental health are they going to get to their guys? The crack is about $8,000 to $10,000. It's across the board. Usually to run any kind of state conference is $25,000. So with this grant, I asked 2 key components. 1, I want to run 7 to 10 classes for everybody in Natrona County. 2, I want the Cass Police Department to hold the mental health conference for 2023 and bring in the instructors and the peer support teams to give even more training to these people. So that was the request, 7 to 10 classes, plus we would actually run the state conference for 2023. I think how we get ahead from the other agencies is 1, we already have peer support in place, working with the fire department and other agencies. But 2, we've already shown we're a known factor. We're bringing in classes. We've already a known entity where 7 other agencies know us. And we invited Douglas and other outside agencies. I'll punch it across the whole state and try to get as many as we can. So 2 key components when I talk to any of these facilities is 1, how many students can I have? And 2, what the sticker cost is just to get a joint one. So for like Winning the Battle, he says, hey, if you pay the $8,000, bring as many people as you want. So we brought in over 70. A lot of them are locked anywhere from 25 to 30 students. That's fine. We'll equally divide it among all the agencies. Fire Department, Mills, Casper, so we have equal representation. Luckily, our peer support team is already up and running. I might need 1 or 2 guys to get peer support trained, but I'll bring in other agencies to take those slots. The key component right now, just to finish it up, is we're trying to link a lot more with the family. We had like 3 shootings a couple weeks ago. It also shows strengths and weaknesses of our peer support group. So the big thing is the interlink with the family. Thursday, I have a meeting with one of the wives that we're actually establishing as a leader. I'm also in contact with 2 other wives. We're going to sit down and have a meeting. The basic thing is to develop hip link, which I've talked to several attorneys about, just to make sure legally we're in perspective. What happens is when there's a major critical incident, we'll already have all the numbers integrated into HipLink, and basically the first one, 99% of the time, our officers get out unscathed, but it'll say, critical incident occurred, basic fact, no officers injured, information upcoming, and then we can send general information to every single wife that's going on. Now let's say for the unforeseen circumstance, a firefighter or a cop or anybody is injured, then what we'll do is we'll launch a peer support team actually to go to that address before we put anything on HipLink, and what I'm looking for is a peer support member, either fire department or police, somebody clergy, one of the wives that's one of our leaders, and just a liaison, either command staff or a sergeant. So we will send a team to that house in order to coordinate everything that the significant other might need to do so they don't have to worry about. So, and also we'd probably bring a counselor on site too. So 2 things, I'm going to build a team that'll launch out to the family if there's something that went on. But also, for the majority of it, we'll be sending out information so everybody knows what's going on. Also, if you need to call a number, we'll have somebody live they can actually talk to just in case they need a reassurance. So we're talking about peer support. I'm just going to wrap it up. So as you can see, it's not just the Cass Police Department or the Fire Department. It's Natrona County. It's the whole state. So basically, in conjunction with our partnerships, I want to be the leader for the whole state. When we think of peer support, it doesn't matter whether it's fire department, paramedic, doctor, it's 3 things. The current people we're bringing on, getting resiliency training to them and training them how to survive through this career and get through this career healthy. The current officers we have that definitively need help, if they've done 10, 15 years, because I can tell you, I know the facts, officers within 16 years is a high suicide bracket. So when we do that, scientific research, it's not our new officers that are killing themselves. It's a guy 3/4 of the way through his career that's physically and mentally broken. We got to figure out ways to help him. But we also need to know the scientific information because it varies from person to person. Dispatcher, 3 years. So who do I need to concentrate on at the first part of their career? Dispatchers. Who do I need to concentrate on and get that resiliency built before they get to the end of their career? Officers. Same thing with firefighters. And according with paramedics and EMTs, there's very little information out there. This is new scientific research, so we need to know. And finally, what we forget about a lot of times is our retirees. So just this week alone, we helped one of our retirees just get a wheelchair ramp built. But I'm also looking for alternative funding through the FOP and everything to help these guys, because a lot of times they've had rough lives. They might not have money to pay medical bills. They might need help with fixing their house, building a ramp. We owe it to them, especially if they gave us 30, 40 years. But any officer, we owe it to them to reach out there and just get assistance. So when you're thinking of first responder, it's a wide net. And when you're thinking about firefighters or cops, it's not just our current guys. It's the new guys coming on board, and it's our retirees. So if anybody's got any questions on that, if not, I guess we can both come up here and get beat up. So anybody have any questions?
So we're actually at 6 o'clock, so our meeting's starting, Judge. I might have to.
I'll blame the fire department.
Well, I mean, mine's gonna be about quarter of that, because I mean, that's kind of a tough,
talkers, man.
Yeah. So whatever you wanna do, Mr. Mayor, that's fine.
Okay, so Judge, I think we're gonna need to reschedule so we can get on the floor.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It is
That's
imperative that
fine.
we do it.
Yeah, we can get that rescheduled ASAP. Okay, all right, thank you.
If I can put in a request to not be behind these guys.
We'll make sure.
They're making me look bad, and at least maybe I'll have more to update on.
Great,
Thank you.
thanks, Letitia.
Does anybody got questions? We can do.
Anybody have any quick questions or anything? Thank you, guys.
right,
Thank you for the awesome work you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like to talk show, we get bumped. That was good though.
Good stuff.
And you like these performance here.
Thanks, Chief.
Agenda review, we're good, thank you, Carter. The agenda review was awesome.
Good evening. Sorry we're running a little bit behind. Before we begin this evening, I would like to remind everyone to silence their cell phones, and also that council meetings are televised and they can be viewed on cable channel 192. I now call the October 18th, 2022 regular council meeting to order. Chair to entertain a motion to, by minute action, excuse the absence of Council Member Pollock.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Nell, seconded by Council Member Ingebretson. Did I get it right? Oh, awesome. I'm starting off great. Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
All members voting aye, the motion passes.
The chair to entertain a motion to approve by minute action the October 18, 2022 bills and claims as audited by City Manager Napier.
So moved.
Oh, did I miss the pledge? That's why I stayed. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know, I thought I was like, I'm on fire.
Now second the bills.
Chair to entertain a motion to approve by minute action the October 18, 2022 bills and claims as audited by City Manager Napier.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Ingebretson, seconded by Vice Mayor Nell. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
Now is the time that we invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak with the council to come forward. As stated on the first page of the agenda, we do ask the following. Please state your name and address. Please direct all the questions to the mayor. No personal attacks on staff or council will be tolerated. Council will not respond to personnel matters. Those will all be referred to our city manager. Questions posed by speakers may or may not be responded to by council members. Presentations will be limited to 5 minutes and there are no duplication of speakers. Please note that public hearings and ordinances have their own comment period, so please hold your comments until those items we've gotten to those items. Anybody? Okay. Please read the consent agenda title.
Establish November 1st, 2022 as a public hearing date for consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 9.08 Offenses Against the Person of the Casper Municipal Code to add Section 9.08.020 malicious harms based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, national origin, or disability.
Thank you. The chair to entertain a motion to, by minute action, establish the public hearing just read.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Cathy, seconded by Councilmember Ingebretson. Any abstentions or nay votes? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the consent agenda title.
Cancel the October 18th, 2022 public hearing and reestablish November 1st, 2022 as the date of the public hearing for consideration of an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 16-97 codified as Chapter 8.08 Private Intrusion Alarms of the Casper Municipal Code.
Thank you. The chair to entertain a motion to, by minute action, cancel and reestablish the public hearing date just read.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilmember Ingebretson, seconded by Vice Mayor Nell. Any abstentions or nay votes? Oh, I'm sorry.
I've been trying to stay quiet.
Sorry, I know, right? Moved by Councilmember Humphrey, seconded by Vice Mayor Nell. Any abstentions or nay votes? Please cast your vote.
I do think you have some right brain stuff.
Oh, man. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. Please read the ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance approving a partial plat, vacation, replat, vacation of public parkland, and a zone change for the North Platte River Park Number 2 subdivision.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve on third reading the ordinance just read.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilmember Sutherland, seconded by Councilmember Ingebretson. Council will now listen to public comment. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes, and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. Anybody want to speak? Okay. Any discussion from council?
Some, please.
What's that? You want some?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I received an email this week concerning this particular piece of ground and maybe a worry that we're competing with private business. I just want to be very clear that that is why this is available, so that private business can come and purchase the land and develop it and do what they need to do with it. So not only are we not competing with private business, we are trying to actually push it out into the forefront and make it available so that private business can do something with it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, amendments. Please cast your vote. Oh, sorry, folks.
I did.
Please record the vote.
Councilmember McIntosh abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now consider consent resolutions. Please read the consent resolutions by title only.
8A1, authorizing a contract between the City of Casper and KLJ Engineering LLC for the Evansville, Texas Street Extension Study. 8A2, authorizing transition to a service fee model for utility credit debit card payments. 8A3, authorizing the release of various local assessment district liens regarding Coates Road, Local Assessment District 158. 8A4, authorizing a contract for professional services with Worthington, Lenhart, and Carpenter Incorporated for professional services for the Westridge Addition improvements. 8A5, ratifying and approving a lease agreement between the City of Casper, Wyoming, Wyoming Municipal Corporation, and the Charles E. Pearsall chapter of the Isaac Walton League of America.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent resolutions just read.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Sutherland, seconded by Councilmember Cathy. Mr. City Manager, would you like to comment on any of these? Okay, thank you. Any abstentions or nay votes? Okay, please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the consent minute action titles.
9A1, authorizing the purchase of 3 new golf course green mowers for use by the Casper Municipal Golf Course of the Parks, Recreation, and Public Facilities Department. 9A2, authorizing the purchase of 1 new 1-ton 4x4 pickup with snowplow, dump bed, and accessories for use by the Weed and Pest Division of the Parks, Recreation, and Public Facilities Department. Authorizing the purchase of 1 new 3,000-ton per hour loader mounted snow blower for use by the Streets and Traffic Division of the Public Services Department.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Gamroth, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any abstentions or nay votes? Okay, please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
At this time, we ask council members to bring forward any relevant concerns or items of interest. Councilmember Humphrey.
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Councilmember Gamroth.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a DDA board meeting last Wednesday, the minutes of which were in our weekend info packet, page 76, if anyone's curious. We discussed winter programming at David Street Station, strategies on collecting input from property owners in the DDA district, as well as city residents, and as far as what's going right downtown, what isn't, just trying to gather some community input on the things that they're excited about going on downtown and some of the things that they think probably need addressed, what improvements can be made, and so yeah, productive, continuing those conversations, so I'm excited to see what comes out of that. And then the only other thing I have is I will be participating in Dancing with the Stars this weekend, so if you want to help Mercer Family Resource Center raise some money, go ahead and vote for your favorite pair for People's Choice Award, and I think it's safe to say, you know, we all know who you should be voting for, but regardless, the money ends up at the appropriate place and they'll put it to good use. So just consider making a donation. It's a great organization and a great cause. Thanks.
Councilmember Ingebretson.
I attended the Parks and Rec Board last Thursday, and we also toured a couple of parks, and we're gonna start touring a few more parks, just to identify underutilized parks and then possibly what to do. And I think that we're just kind of waiting from the legal department to kind of decide which ones, but we've got some ideas of what we're gonna move forward with that, and then stepping in for Amber on Thursday, I guess, for the MPO, so.
Thank you. Councilmember McIntosh.
Nothing, sir.
Great. Councilmember Sutherland.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. I attended the Amico Regus Agreement Joint Powers Board meeting last week. Not a lot to update there, but there are just some continued and promising ongoing conversations with the brownfield specialist. So hoping that opens up some ideas and opportunities for further development there. Also attended the Regional Water Board meeting today. I think the most exciting update there is that the surface water is no longer being used. We're just relying on well water at this point. Lastly, we got an email that the police department will be making bike donations and is accepting applications for those up until November 4th. So for anybody who would like to apply, you can go online and find the form there. That's it.
Councilmember McCarthy.
I also attended the Water Board meeting, and as Councilwoman Sutherland stated, a very fine job of that. I also attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting today. The announcement was made by Mr. Januska, our airport manager, that SkyWest is going to be bringing in another flight in and out going to Salt Lake, that they are expecting to be in operation definitely by Christmas, hopefully by Thanksgiving. The 1 cent pack was there and made a presentation, which was very informative to people. And they're anticipating the library story walk on the Platte River Trails to be up and running within the next couple of weeks on their first segment. And I went past down 13th Street today, and right before you get to Fort Casper, the American Legion was out putting in their Veterans Memorial right there. That is under construction with Andreen Hunt. So that is in progress as well.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. We lost one of our former police detectives, Mr. Larry DeGraw. He retired in 1995 in good standing with the Casper Police Department, and he has passed. So my thoughts and prayers certainly go out to his family and thank him for his many years of service. Joint Powers Board meeting today, we also approved, and they will be starting on putting in the new chiller. So that's good news. That's certainly something that we've needed, and we finally found some funding, so we're able to get that done. West Side, I was driving out yesterday, and I noticed the temple's going up. There's cranes out there. They're putting the pieces together, so that's pretty exciting for our LDS community anyway. It's going to be a beautiful building, and so if you get a chance to drive by and see that, it goes up pretty quick. It comes in prefabbed, and they literally just kind of piece it all together. So one day it's not there, and the next day it's there. So it's kind of interesting. Last but not least, tickets go on sale on Friday, believe it or not, for Journey and Toto up at the Ford Wyoming Center. I know we're going to be losing Brad, who runs that, and they'll be currently looking for somebody new. But people complain that we never get any great acts in Casper, and we are the only venue within 600 square miles that will have Journey and Toto in our building. So pretty unique opportunity, at least for those of us who grew up in the 80s and really like that Journey music, right, Carter? Amen, brother. And just a note for council, mailboxes have been switched around in there, so make sure you look and see where your new box is, so you're not grabbing somebody else's mail. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Just was going to say I was honored to go and make the announcement about Journey and Toto. And so I vaguely remember, I was so young, Carter, when they first came to Casper in 1983. I was just a child. Baby. I'm sure you probably were. anyway, very excited that they're coming here. I think it's a good opportunity to honor the 40th anniversary of that. It's going to be April the 11th, so hopefully we'll be able to encourage to do that. And it was fun to go be a part of that and announce it with that crew up there. And I'm just going to speak real briefly. Dancing with the Stars is a great opportunity to support the Mercer Family Resource Center. I had an opportunity to do it like 4 years ago, I think. I danced, and so it was a blast. And so it's a great opportunity to support that place, and so get out there, vote, do those things, because the money goes to a great cause. So that's all I've got. Next meetings of the City Council will be a work session to be held at 4:30 on Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, in the council meeting room, and a regular work council meeting to be held at 6 p.m. Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, in the council chambers. A notice of an executive session to take place at this date and during this meeting was given. We have matters to discuss regarding personnel and litigation. Therefore, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn into an executive session, and at the conclusion of the executive session to reconvene this regular meeting solely for purposes and adjournment of this regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilmember McIntosh, seconded by Councilmember Cathy. There being a majority of members present and a motion to adjourn to an executive session having been moved and seconded, and that motion requiring 2/3 majority of the council present, please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
A greater than 2/3 majority of council present voted in favor of the motion, and we are hereby adjourned into an executive session. Thank you, everyone. Be safe tonight.